right, guys. Daniel Gorley here with Worship Props, and I'm joined with my friend, Mr. Brian Tabor.
What is up?
What is up, guys? We are ready for another episode of Worship Karaoke. And Brian, this is a special episode.
Yes, it is.
Why is it special?
Because we have gone international.
Spared no expense.
International, baby.
International, baby.
Multi-country.
We're
a veritable United Nations in this car today.
Multicultural.
Yeah.
And guys, but our guest is awesome, which is who Brian is referring to. But before we get to our guest, we have to talk about the amazing sponsors that we have for Worship Karaoke. Here you go.
Hey guys, this episode's also sponsored by the amazing team at Church Visuals. These guys are awesome. As a ministry leader, you want to save tons of time and look amazing at the same time, but it's about more than that when it comes to connecting graphics and video. It's about visually communicating that lives are changed. Visuals are tools to see salvation and spiritual growth at your church, and that's what the team at Church Visuals is all about. Their work has impacted the entire world. They work with some of the largest brands in ministry, from Outreach to Awana to Answers in Genesis, Tidely, and many, many more. Their massive ready-made library of 40,000 plus ready-made visuals is available to you, and you can pull them in instantly. You can't even get a part-time employee for the cost of $299 a month, but they do it for you, and they're amazing. These guys nail it. Churchvisuals.com is their website, so go check them out. Church Visuals is the best.
All right, we're back, and guys, we're excited. Brian, you know this person. You've known him for years now.
I have.
Yes, so tell us a little bit about who is joining us on the
we have all the way from, I believe how you would say it is Sarnia, Ontario, Canada.
Okay.
Luke Anderson. Yes, Luke Anderson.
And Canadian.
And we are going to greet him in a very special way.
A very American and a very respectful manner. Our Canadian friend, Mr. Luke Anderson, is joining. Luke!
Oh, Canada, our home and native land.
Oh, I don't know the words, man.
Hey, guys.
How are you, man?
Good, how you doing?
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
The glasses are lovely. They look like we're flagging in.
Listen, there's been a lot of interpretive dances done with those flags, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely.
Sure.
Thanks for the eyewear. I mean, personally, I feel wonderful and not ridiculous at all.
I feel wonderful. Get it?
I feel...
These will make an appearance again. I'm positive.
Yeah. Oh, Brian's taking his off.
Positive.
Okay.
Well, I can't see.
So you can't see? Well, I have to drive, so I'm probably... Guys, this has been a long time coming. So, Luke, you are a long time worship probser.
A long time worship
probber.
An OG.
You're part of the
worship
community.
probber.
OG. And you drove in today from Sarnia, Ontario, Canada.
I did.
Right?
I did.
Sarnia is just next to Narnia, right?
Sarnia is,
close.
kind of. Right on the border of that state that we don't mention because we're OH. Right next to Michigan.
Okay.
So when he was interviewing to go back there, I would always text him the hashtag The Chronicles of Sarnia.
Nice. Nicely played. Brian.
Absolutely.
So Luke is the man who single-handedly delivered the country of Canada to Worship Props.
You were the beachhead.
Honorary mention to Brooke Nichols, our friend.
Yeah.
But Luke is the guy who made it all happen. And Luke is like an encourager. We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff. But can you tell us a little bit about, like, where were you when you found Worship Probs? It was Worship Leader Probs back in that day. Where were you when you found it? How did you find it? And what role did it do? Did it serve, to help you?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So this is the second time that I've been in Sarnia.
Okay.
So I was there between 2015 and 2017 as the worship pastor and kind of the pastor of everything else, that role.
Yeah.
And so we got a call from one of my mentors and one of my really good friends, and he said, I'm moving to an island on the southern coast of New Brunswick called Grand Manan Island. Okay. And he said, I would feel really, really good if you would come with me, and I'm not taking no for an answer. And so we moved to...
I'm gonna make you an offer you can't refuse.
Exactly. So we went to Grand Manan Island to pastor with our good friends Tim and Gayla. And Grand Manan Island is an island that is a ferry ride of an hour and a half.
Okay.
And so you don't get off the island very much, every couple weeks, every month. And there are 2,500 people on Grand Manan Island.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so we were tasked to merge 3 churches together.
Okay.
So 3 churches with distinct cultures, distinct communities, and just it was an incredible experience. We're better for having lived there.
Sure.
But I couldn't just go down the street to the next town to have coffee with another worship pastor or another pastor. And so what happened was I discovered this podcast from this Instagram account that I followed.
These random guys.
And legitimately, it saved me on that island. Like it was like I looked forward so much to Tuesdays because it was my lifeline to this. And so worship leader worship Probs now in this alliteration has just been, it has a special place. Of course, it's just incredible. So that's kind of the story.
That's awesome.
And so I've listened to every episode,
man.
Every back when Ryan was like, back in the
voice changer
the voice
era.
change. Like I remember when we, when it was revealed, like who is this guy? Like, is it Michael W. Smith? Is it Mark Harris? Is it David Crowder? Like all these different
No, it's
guys.
better.
It is better. It is
Brian
the one,
Tabor.
the one and only.
The only
BT.
And I can remember maybe exchanging emails with you about our merch because we couldn't figure out international shipping, and even though you're like
you broke the
by,
system,
right? And so Luke would be like, "Oh man!" So he finally, I think, figured out how to order it and have it shipped to Maine.
My wife had it shipped to Maine for Christmas for me one year, and so
That's funny.
we a mailbox there, and it was pretty fantastic.
Man,
so Brian, when you were looking at the back end of Instagram and you get all those analytics and whatever, you're like, there's a hot spot right here,
that is a hot
right in Nova Scotia, like
HOTT hot.
100% content consumption right here in the Scotia.
Right here.
Hot,
right?
Yeah.
Well,
absolutely.
Guys, it is Worship Karaoke,
Yeah.
okay? And this is all about getting in the car, listening to the music, hanging out with friends. So we got the hang out with friends done. Now we got to get some music going on. So you picked 2 songs, Luke. Mm-hmm. We picked 2 songs. Mm-hmm. You have no idea what we're picking.
Nuh-uh.
Okay. And
No,
do you trust
worried.
Brian? The pause is telling. The pause.
Yeah, let's see. Let's see.
All right, so for our first song, here we go. Let's see how Brian did. Oh, it's got a slow little...
Okay. It's got the
swell.
Hammond. I think the Leslie just turned on there.
This is one of my all-timers, man.
Yeah, this is a good one. I'm just wondering if Brian's going to full accent.
Oh yeah.
Your name in the land that is plentiful, where your streams of abundance flow. Blessed be your name. Blessed be your name when I'm found in the desert place. Though I walk through the wilderness, blessed be your
I
name.
need my confidence monitor right here.
Every blessing.
Every blessing
Thank you.
pour out, I'll turn back to praise. And when the darkness closes in, Lord, still I will say, blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your name. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your glorious name.
Yeah. And that bridge too, man. You give and take away.
Yeah.
Lord, blessed be your name. Wow.
It's hard to believe that this song is as old as it is.
I know.
It feels like it was just yesterday that it just became this crazy anthem of the church.
It wasn't, because I mean,
absolutely.
I feel like this was what, early 2004, 2005, something around there.
Yeah, ish, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, gosh, that's been 20 years, James.
Yeah.
Holy schnickies.
Wow.
So, okay, you're on this island.
Yeah.
In really the farthest eastern province.
Yeah.
Yeah, ish, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Newfoundland and yeah,
Sorry.
but yeah, you're
Sorry.
okay.
You're close.
Listen,
You're getting there.
yeah,
I'm doing my.
you're okay.
So, you get this opportunity to go maybe back to a church that you served at before.
Mm-hmm.
What was that experience like?
Humbling.
Yeah.
Incredible. It's a weird. How do you describe it? I mean, you know the players, the people that are there.
Right.
Sometimes that's really, really, really good,
Yeah.
and sometimes you know the players. You know who's there,
And they know you.
and they know me.
Yeah.
And the church that I left is a very different church than I came back to.
Yeah.
And so we and we're different, it was 7 years, between, and in a different role. And so now I'm the lead pastor at the church. And so
Okay, so you came back as the lead pastor.
the lead pastor.
And you were worship.
And I was worship and communications and all the
So that's all this
Ministry,
stuff.
et cetera, eh?
Yeah.
so all in your job
Did you
description.
just throw an A in
I
there?
did.
Yeah.
He threw an A in
Yeah,
there.
I know.
No, I
He's
didn't.
trying to make you feel more comfortable.
I know, at home, right?
Oh,
yeah.
thanks.
Yeah,
A.
loser.
So amazing.
So what happens is that you're feeling incredibly blessed that you wanted to go, that they wanted you back.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I went through this process and I had a couple of perceived red flags. One of them was I didn't want them to just rubber stamp Luke, because I wanted them to take me through the process, because I needed to know that we were discerning things. And so
And it's a new role. It's not like you're going back to do the same thing you did before.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so now we'd been back, we'd stayed in touch. I was back and did 4 weddings and that kind of thing, like over the time that we were gone. But it was the most intense interview process that I've ever been through. And we just know that God's had his hand on that, on us and on the church. And, there were opportunities potentially to go back sooner and it just wasn't the right time.
Yeah.
And
So now you're in the lead role instead of the worship role. Is it tough to let somebody else do the thing that you love for so long, and you're just kind of, or do you feel like it's an advantage, like it gives you some insight?
Well, it's an advantage, and we've been there about 10 months at this point, and so we're very much in. My good friend Brian Tabor says, know the way, show the way, and get out of the way. And we're somewhere in between the show the way, or know the way and show the way stage, and we're getting ready to get out of the way, and so that's my whole life is a prayer concern.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Gotcha.
so like
Get it.
you think that you get prayer concerns as a worship pastor,
Right.
Man,
like as a lead pastor?
can't imagine.
Yeah.
Oh
I can't
my
imagine.
gosh. And it's just like my job is to protect that our team. My job is the buck stops at me, and I've heard you talk, Brian, about Pastor Chris and how, he said if they come back, if they, you send them to me, and that's exactly what I do. You come to me and I'll take care of things, and oftentimes it's a simple conversation that's a misunderstanding, or it's something like that, but it's been it's been a breath of fresh air being back.
Man, that's great. So what is it like transitioning from your focus of the worship set and the worship team and all that to preparing sermons every week? That is maybe the most intimidating thing you could ever ask me to do.
Yeah.
I'm also not gifted to do it. Obviously, God gifted you. Eh?
Yeah,
Nicely.
It's daunting.
I bet.
The role of a worship leaders to prepare the way,
Right.
and really to prepare the atmosphere for the word to go forth. And I know there's some different opinions on that, but
Sure.
but depending on what kind of church flavor you're in, or, like but it is daunting to know that like God still speaks.
Yeah.
Right.
And he speaks to a worship pastor who's picking songs in a set list, and he speaks to a pastor who's bringing the word.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
And so it is incredibly humbling and daunting, and to be able to do that. So
Okay. Which is probably the heart perspective that the Lord wants you to have, because you have a lens on it that keeps you reliant on Him.
Yeah.
And not just your ability.
Yeah.
Man, that's amazing. I admire the transition so much. I could not do it, and I applaud. I'm cheering you on.
My daughter was just in a big stage production. A couple of my daughters were, and they were really nervous. And they said, like, Dad, you don't get nervous when you speak. And I said, like, the moment that I don't get nervous when I speak is the moment that I quit.
Yeah.
The moment that because there's this holy fear, right? There's this holy nervousness that happens every. Yeah, absolutely.
And so you mentioned your wife.
Mm-hmm.
How long you been married?
15 years in November.
And it's Brianne.
Yep.
She's amazing.
She is, like, she puts up with me. So she is amazing.
She's amazing. And how many kids?
I have 3 kids. I've got Emma, who's 13, Maxana, who is 10, and then Rhett, who is 3.
3
And
10
Rhett,
and 3. That's a
yeah.
That was
Did you go on a
planned?
cruise or did you go to a trip?
No, that wasn't planned, Daniel. No,
okay.
no.
I mean, I just thought the 7-year gap was like intentional.
The Lord knew.
The Lord knew.
The Lord knew.
The Lord knew you needed Rhett in your life.
He is unbelievable. He is all boy. He's a ball of energy, and
That's
he keeps
awesome.
us. But he's kept us in a completely different stage of life, and
That's awesome.
it's been great.
Okay.
All right, so Brian, you picked the first tune.
Yeah.
And you did a pretty good job.
I think so.
I'd say 7.
Yeah.
7.5 maybe, if I'm being generous. What about you, Luke? What do you feel like?
Yeah, I think that was pretty great. I'd say a 7.8 maybe.
Okay, 7.8 from the Canadian judge.
Yeah.
I thought that's pretty
Yeah.
solid. All right, good. You could have stuck the dismount a little bit more. But
Well, I had to edge the Americans, right?
Oh, yeah, just a little bit higher.
Yeah.
All right, well, good.
Yeah.
All right, so song number 2 is actually one of the ones that you picked, Luke.
Okay.
So now we get to judge you on what you have selected.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
of
yeah,
course
here
we
we
got
go.
a live album.
Here we go. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
We got some energy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All right. Let's go. Is this Enemies Camp?
This
Is that what it
is Enemies Camp.
Baby.
I went
Boy,
to Enemies
in
Camp.
my opinion,
I went
probably the
to
greatest
the
worship album
Enemies
ever made.
Camp.
Yeah, this one.
And I took back what he stole from me. I took back
what he stole from me.
Oh, I took back
what he stole from me.
Oh, I went to the enemy's camp, and I took back what he stole from me. Oh, he's under my feet.
Oh, come on.
He's under my
Break
feet.
it down, Luke.
He's under my
Take him to church.
Is it the glasses or is it the hype man? that
I
you
don't
just
know,
can't get
man.
over?
It's fantastic. This is a fantastic
Oh,
song.
it's so good.
I went to the enemy's camp, and I took back what he stole from me. Took back
what he stole from me.
Oh, I took back
what he stole from me.
Oh, I went to the enemy's camp. That
So
double
this-
hit on the snare.
I love
right
that
there.
double, man.
This song is like the one where it's like, I mean, how long is this? A 2-hour song? Like,
Well,
what do you
it
guys
could be.
feel like?
Yeah, I mean, depending. Like, there were some. Man, I grew up Pentecostal, so
Yeah.
there were some.
Ditto.
Man.
Well, it's like
this
until the
is-
drummer just falls over and keels over in pain. You just keep playing the song.
Oh, that's a good tune.
And then it goes right into, can you believe what the
Can you
Lord has
believe
done?
what the-
Like,
Yeah.
come on.
That is such a great
It's
record,
just-
man.
That was
Oh
good.
My gosh.
That was good. So, Brian, if you were judging as an American judge, you would give it a what?
okay, I'm gonna go 9.5 because I love that song. I love that album.
Good.
And in Canadian currency, that's about a 7.2.
Yeah, 7.2.
Yeah, but
7.2, and we appreciate the extra buying power. That's fine. That's fine. All right, well, Luke, so you obviously we talked a little bit about like lead pastor stuff, and we talked about your transition. Are you on the street team?
I am on the street team.
You're on the street team.
He's like a charter member. Like you were an early adopter.
Yeah, I've been on the street team for 3 years, 3.5 years, something like that. Yeah.
Now, do you want to give a little bit of insight into how your life's changed because of that? Like, do doors open a little easier? Do you get a lot more
fresher?
Air smells fresher.
Yeah.
A little bit more perks.
Yeah. No, it's fantastic. I'm just thankful that I get to play a small part in what, God is doing through Worship Props, because it really is a community. And let me make a shameless plug for the Facebook community here. Like the Facebook community, there's some real in-depth conversations that are happening, and there are people that are asking questions, and it's funny. Like there are some questions that come in, like you can do that on the group where it's like an anonymous participant, and they're like, I know some people in the group, and so like but it's a safe place. Like it's, and people aren't, you've been on some church groups, and it's not a safe place, and people are like, well, you should have, that it's pinned in the comments, it's this, and
why didn't you use the search bar, dude?
Yeah, like
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there are 74 other comments that are explaining the same thing. But this community is not like that. We're all there together. We're all trying to do exactly what we're just trying to live out our calling. And so it's fantastic, like that community. But the street team, I'm just thankful that we get to be a part of what God is doing through Worship Props.
Well, if that term is new to you, so as the Instagram started to grow, I just couldn't do it all. Because from the beginning, in community, you use that word, which I love. That's really what we wanted this to be. And if you make a comment, it deserves to be acknowledged in some way. And so we really make a point of trying to do that and trying to reply or acknowledge every DM that we get. And we get a lot. And so it just became too much for one guy who had a full-time job and all that. And so I was like, okay, there are some followers who I know, and then there are some followers who I didn't know very well, but who kind of, you just get a sense of they're committed, and they're really solid people. And
you cut them and they bleed problems.
Right, exactly, exactly.
We've got a problem for every solution.
So we formed this team, and they each take a shift, primarily on Instagram, although Luke helps us with the
Facebook,
community, Facebook community and stuff, and so
especially since you're a lead pastor, because you have more time now.
Oh yeah, exactly.
And it's got the clout.
Well, really, you work 1 hour a week, huh?
1 hour a week.
Yeah.
I thought you just preach on Sundays.
Yeah, that's it.
And so, as a sidebar, if I've never done this before, but if that's something that would interest you, send us a DM or email us info@worshipleaderprobs.com. You'd like to give back, and the heart of it is, these are church leaders from all over the country and multi-countries. And they're able to speak into the ministries of other leaders. And I love that. Leaders helping leaders.
If there's something that we're on our shift, like right now my shift is Sunday evenings, and I've been on a bunch of different times. But if there's a question that comes in and we don't know the answer, we've got a group message, and we say, hey, does someone want to take this? And there might be someone else with some expertise.
Sure.
And so you're getting someone that's either been through that, and they're doing that. The other thing that I do too is, because I realize that how much of a community it was for me, the podcast, that I see some of the same people every week, and they are in the comments, and they're sharing their set lists. And so what's happened is that I've actually created some, like, hey, we've been able to pray for some people because hey, they've in their comments said, and my husband's having surgery or whatever, and going back and forth with those and establishing that community. It's been pretty fantastic.
So there's some relationships that I've picked up outside of just the normal interaction. That's cool. That's cool.
Absolutely.
All right, so Luke, this is wonderful, and it's been great, and we're now about to ruin it. And so, you've seen the karaoke episodes before.
I have,
All right, you know what's coming, right?
I do know what's coming.
All right, so we like to play a little game. Would you like to play a game? It's called What's in the glove box? So, as you know, there's nothing alive in there. Nothing's going to bite you, or
no snakes.
No snakes, no
Edible.
spiders, nothing edible. We're not going to make you eat anything.
Okay.
Not maple syrup.
Not maple
From
syrup.
the
You got
mother-
plenty. You got plenty of maple syrup up there.
Okay.
All right. So why don't you go ahead and pop that, and let's see what you got.
Oh boy.
Oh yes.
Oh,
we
yes.
cannot think of anything better. So there's a little.
Oh,
I'm gonna power this sucker.
I have a 10-year-old. I know how to do this.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
so this is already common. Like feature.
So these disappear. It's
Oh.
Reverb Man. These disappear at my house. Like we hide them in places so that she
Okay.
can't get them, because not only does it Reverb Man, it's also there's a.
Oh no, he's gonna reprogram it, Brian.
I can't. There's. Maybe it's not this one. You can. There's a voice changer. So Brian, you could use this during the first little bit of.
You should have used that.
I should have.
Well,
Yeah, this is fantastic.
I actually asked Brian. I said, "Hey, tell me a little bit about Luke." And he's like, "Dude, he's good with percussion instruments. He can play stuff." I'm like, "I'm not going to give him an instrument. I'm going to give him the mic." But then you sang the second song, and dude, you got some skills.
Oh,
So he's got some
boy.
skills. So I feel like I've kind of just laid this up for you to dunk it and finish it. So
Yeah.
all right.
I'm wondering, Daniel, with your expertise, could I take this off and put it on like my SM58?
Absolutely, we can make that happen,
Okay,
and
great.
that'll be a
Perfect.
nice little plastic cap for your microphone.
awesome.
So. All right, so guys, this is your second tune, Luke.
Yeah.
I hope it's a really good one that really lends us well to self-allow to tape delay. So let's go with that.
I don't know that it does, but that's okay.
Well, it's going to now. So what do we got here?
Oh boy.
All right, so we've got what's this song, Luke? What are we listening?
This is Holy Spirit by Jesus Culture.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
I think it's gonna fit.
The boss lady's
really well.
fixing
Listen.
to break it down on here, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, she is.
The old high sock runner. You don't see that every day.
Only in
Sorry,
Indiana.
buddy. Sorry, buddy, if you're watching.
There's nothing worth more that could ever come close. Nothing can compare. You're our living hope.
It's a nice resonance.
Oh, yeah,
Your
presence.
See, and that's a problem. Like, if they don't turn the delay off and you just try to, do communion over the song, like, it's awkward.
I've tasted and seen
But the sweetest of loves, where my heart becomes free,
and
my shame is undone.
Is this a Waves plugin?
Yes,
Yeah,
it is.
okay.
It's part of the Platinum series.
Where's Dante?
Yeah, Dante, he left.
Come on, Dante.
left the building.
Turn it up.
Holy Spirit, you are welcome here. Come flood this place and fill the atmosphere. Your glory, God, is what our hearts long for. To be overcome by your presence, Lord. Your presence,
Oh, it is a good song. I'm so sad that we ruined it with the blue
That's a
microphone.
nice little Phillips Craig and Dean harmonies, though.
Yeah.
There we go. We should go on the road.
PCD.
We should go on the road. It's just, where's the road?
Here's a sidebar story about the song Holy Spirit.
Got it.
So at my last church, we had a guy who was very much anti that song because the Holy Spirit's here. We don't need to welcome him. And so he went to the senior pastor with this argument. And
he did.
And the senior pastor was like, what is wrong
What's
with
the
saying,
problem?
come and do a work in me, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And so I had an worship associate for a few years, and he would play every time that guy was in service. Holy Spirit was the underscore song he would play. He would play it for communion. He would play it for little
Morning, noon, and night.
little poke the tiger moment,
Oh, I love
poke
it.
the bear, whatever.
But I mean, the best on that whole conversation is, he says that to your senior pastor. Your senior pastor should be like, "Is the Holy Spirit here in this conversation? Did you invite him to this
Right.
one?"
Because I would have said, why are you coming to me? Go to the worship pastor.
Yeah, go to the worship
Exactly.
pastor.
Come
So,
on, dude.
so when I was on Graham and Ann Island, which Google it. It's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
Every Sunday morning, that was our soundtrack for when we were just getting ready for service. The lead pastor and I, we just sat in that song, and and it was nothing short of the Holy Spirit to bring 3 churches together.
Yeah.
And it was terrific.
That song just is filled with like an expectation.
Oh yeah.
It's just like, okay, I'm here and I am ready, and I'm going to switch off all the things in my world, and I'm just going to focus on you.
And the interesting part about it is to even say we don't need to welcome the Holy. Well, maybe that song is not as much for the Holy Spirit as it is for us.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Holy Spirit, come in us. It's a positioning of our hearts.
It's cultivating that expectation, that anticipation, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, I feel like the mic helped.
Yeah,
I feel like it was good.
Yeah,
I feel like it was good.
That was fantastic.
So Brian, we do 3 tunes, and then we do a 4th, and the 4th one you've picked.
I picked it.
Now,
I picked
this one has a special place in your heart.
It does.
Do you want to set it up? Do you
I
want
just
to
think we should roll it and let it happen.
just roll it and let it overwhelm the situation?
Oh boy.
Yes.
Here we go. Here we go.
Today, as it forever was. Why are you laughing? Does this have a special meaning?
The worst thing that I ever did was sing at my wedding.
Oh.
We call it the Anderson Ugly Cry.
Oh, did you?
And
like a little snort jiggle, a little snort cry.
There's video of it, and it's on Facebook, and
I may or may not have gotten that sent to me by your wife.
I can't imagine.
I definitely did.
Yeah.
So Brian has you crying and bawling your eyes out to this song on video.
Yeah, you'll probably splice to it.
I was gonna say at some point that's like dangerous. I don't know if you can.
It's bad. It's bad. But what a song!
Oh no,
so good.
Stephen Kerr's Chapter. This is like the jam.
And is this the original or is this the orchestrated version?
That's a great question. I think it might be OG. I'm not sure.
I will be here. And she's right there, and I'm just like completely Anderson Ugly Cry.
Is her name's Brianne?
Brianne.
Yeah. Okay. So why aren't you crying now? Is the marriage not as good?
Check, please.
Boy.
I'm so sorry.
Let's roll.
Please.
Yeah.
So how did you recover? I mean, like
I didn't. I cried through the whole thing.
The whole thing?
Did she cry? No, she didn't want to mess up her makeup.
It's like a 4-minute song, man.
Oh yeah.
It's like a 4-minute. She didn't cry at all.
She didn't cry at all.
So you were just crying, and
Probably
she's
all
just
stuffed up.
Like if
afterwards.
you were laying down your life, you'd probably cry too, right? Like, come on.
Oh,
That's a great.
I may be in trouble.
Yeah. That was amazing.
But
It's a great tune. No,
Fantastic.
I've sung this at other weddings. I don't think I could sing at my wedding. Brian, what about you?
I did sing at
You
my
did?
wedding,
Did you cry?
What did you sing?
I did not cry. So when I was in college, I had a friend who had written this love song called "God Sent You for Me."
Oh boy.
And he played it for me one day, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to sing that to my wife at our wedding." I didn't even know Kim yet,
Right.
and so I cannot keep anything from her.
Okay.
It just can't do it. Like if I get pulled over for speeding, before I pull back out onto the road, she's on the phone.
I'm so sorry.
She answers the phone. Did you get a ticket? And so I managed to not ever play it for her, to not ever be like singing it or humming it or anything. Yeah. And she planned our ceremony down to the minute.
Okay.
Wow.
And so we wrote our own vows. While I'm doing my vows, a dear friend of ours, Jay Rouse, was at the piano. He starts to underscore, and I see this glimmer in her eye. And what she's saying to me is, no one's supposed to be playing here. What's happening?
Oh.
And then I start to sing a song that she's never heard.
Okay.
Fast forward, when Kim did her first record in 1999, we put this song on it really just for us.
Right.
Wow.
And it became, we spent 6 years traveling full time, and during this song became kind of a thing that we were known for.
Sure.
And it was just like, I think for people to see a married couple up there together, proclaiming, I believe God sent you for me, So anyway, I did sing. That's a long story.
So you kept a good secret.
Yeah.
I kept a good secret.
Yeah.
And I didn't cry. Believe me.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was on the verge
Wow.
a number of times.
See, I knew myself well enough that I would have sobbed like a little baby girl.
Yeah, like
if
we
I had
sound
done it.
checked the night before, and it was fantastic. And
Yeah.
I was like, "This is a piece of cake." That day when she
Yeah.
walks in and I see her for the first time, no.
You're like, she's
No.
so beautiful.
Oh yeah,
is.
So
and she
good.
still is.
Man, you are
Yeah.
cold, Tabor. Like
Yeah.
you pulled that out
Yeah.
and you
Ice in
just
those veins, baby.
ice, ice in those veins.
Ice
in those-
cold.
All right. Well, Mr. Canadian,
Mm-hmm.
thank you for coming and gracing us with your presence.
Yeah, Mr. Canada's here.
Brian, he's come a long way.
Come a long way. And you've listened to every podcast, so you know.
I know it's coming.
We end every interview with the same question. We call it the big room question.
Yep.
But when we're mobile,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
When we are
and
mobile.
we call it the big bus question. Big bus question. And so you know what's coming. If we could gather all the worship leaders and all their volunteers, all the production and tech leaders and all their volunteers, got them on the bus. We gave you that microphone at the front.
Yep.
And you've been
Yeah.
both of them. You now are lead pet. What would you want to say to that group?
I think it starts with something that my dad used to say when my dad was a school teacher, and he signed every kid's yearbook with this statement. And he said, pick up your clothes and make your bed.
Okay.
And it wasn't necessarily to pick up your clothes and make your bed, but it was to establish healthy patterns that are going to last for a really long time. So that's what I would say. Establish healthy patterns. You know what? If you've been leading worship for any length of time, you can probably scratch together a set and you can manufacture something on your own power. But why would you want to do that when you have the power that is just amazing at your disposal, you know?
Yeah.
So establish healthy rhythms, establish healthy routines. Get to know your congregation.
Yeah.
You know, get to know the people that you lead. I forget who it was on the podcast, Brian, but shepherds smell like sheep.
Andy Frank.
Andy Frank.
Big
right?
worship,
Andy
yeah.
Frank. And then this past winter, you had Natalie Grant on the podcast, and she get out of the green room, get out of this thing. And one of my philosophies of pastoral ministry, and this has been this way for a really long time, is that if we can't walk with people through times of grief and sorrow, we have no business walking with them in times of celebration.
Mercy.
Yeah.
And so get in the lobby. Get to know your congregation. Walk with them, because that XLR cord is still going to be there on Monday morning.
Yeah. You'll fix it.
You know, you don't need to go back to the green room. You don't need to go back to the back door of the stage.
Yeah.
Get off the stage. Get into the congregation. Get into the room.
Yep.
Get into the lobby, and really get to know the people and serve the people that you are leading. And so start small. You know, and just establish those healthy rhythms and those healthy routines.
That's so good.
That's awesome.
And I bet you would find if you did those things, you will lead them differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, a shepherd leads his own sheep probably differently than he would lead some like a bunch of goats or his own some of his neighbor's sheep or whatever.
Sheep,
yeah.
The first pastor I worked with, his name was Pastor McKean, and he's since passed away, but he talked to me daily about these different rhythms, and he told me, he said 90% of your pastoring can be done in the lobby of your church.
Wow.
You know, and he said, like, just healthy rhythms, like he didn't let me go through the drive-through. He said, like, go to the post office the same time every single day.
Yeah.
You know, go to the bank teller, don't go to the ATM, like actually go to the person. And he said, like, if you have to deposit and withdraw the same $20, do it, because you're establishing those routines. And it's the same thing with our spiritual lives. You know, if we're not in the Word, then what are we even doing?
Yeah. Right. Right. Wow.
Anyway, that's just.
Did you ever walk into his office and say, "How have you been, Pastor McKean?"
I'm gonna go on a no.
I
probably.
did not.
Yeah.
No.
You missed that opportunity.
He was fantastic.
Guess what I just seen, Pastor McKean.
Guys,
Sorry.
it gets worse.
Terrible English right
It gets worse. This is, we've actually been,
I'm not a grammarian, guys.
we've been filming for 3 days straight for season 4 of
This is
Worship
the
Caraoke.
bottom of the pudding cup.
This is it.
There we go.
This is what happens
Yeah.
right here. This is what we get at the end. This is baked Brian. He's tired. So
This meat is quite lean. Pastor McKee.
oh my goodness.
That's going to be my new thing.
Guys, please don't make it your new
No,
thing.
please don't. Please don't.
Guys, this has been another episode of Worship Karaoke. If you liked Luke, and I hope you did because he was awesome, then please go and subscribe on YouTube and follow the account and all the things, because we get to do this only if you guys do all that and visit our sponsors, right, Brian?
Do it.
Our sponsors are the only reason that we're here and we get to do crazy stuff like this. So, guys, thank you for watching us, and without further ado, peace.
Pastor McKee.
That cannot be your call. Your sign off.
Deuces.
Deuces. All right.
See you later, Ray.
Hey, see you later.